Ukraine just figured out how to solve a really tough problem using an old German gun from 1970. It's like when you use your grandpa's old tools to fix something new. Sometimes the old stuff works better than you'd think. So here's what's happening. Russia keeps sending these flying robots called Shahed drones to attack Ukraine. These aren't tiny drones like the ones kids play with. These are big, scary ones that weigh about 440 pounds each and carry a 200-pound bomb inside them. They fly really far using satellite signals to find their targets, kind of like how your phone's GPS helps you find places. The coolest part of this story is about these German-made vehicles called Gepards. Think of them as armored trucks with two big guns on top that can shoot really, really fast. These guns are called 35mm Oerlikon autocannons, which is just a fancy name for guns that shoot lots of bullets super quickly without anyone having to reload them manually. A Ukrainian air defense expert, who uses a fake name to stay safe, explained that these automated gun systems create what he calls dense projectile clouds. That's a fancy way of saying they shoot so many bullets so fast that they make a wall of metal in the sky that the drones can't fly through. It's like throwing a handful of pebbles at a flying insect. One of them is bound to hit it. Ukraine has gotten lots of these Gepard vehicles from Germany, plus some similar ones called Skynex guns that are more modern but work the same way. These trucks are super important because they can shoot down the Russian drones from a few miles away, which is far enough to keep the Ukrainian soldiers safe while they're doing their job. Here's a really cool example of how good these guns are. One German Gepard, with its twin 35mm cannons, actually shot down several drones with just one burst of bullets. That's like hitting multiple flying targets with one throw. Pretty amazing, right? But why is this such a big deal? Well, Russia has been sending these Shahed attack drones to hit Ukrainian cities for almost 3 years now. They're trying to scare people and destroy important buildings. Since this whole thing started, Russia has launched about 29,000 of these drone attacks. That's like if someone threw 29,000 paper airplanes at your house, except these paper airplanes carry bombs. Each one of these Shahed drones costs Russia somewhere between $50,000 and $150,000 to make. That might sound like a lot of money, but for a country, it's actually pretty cheap compared to other weapons. It's like buying a really expensive car instead of a fighter jet. The attacks keep getting bigger and more frequent, which means Russia is sending more drones more often. On July 4th, Russia sent 539 Shahed drones and fake drones toward Ukraine all at once. The Ukrainian Air Force managed to shoot down 268 of them, and another 28 got lost because Ukraine has special jamming systems that mess up the radio signals the drones use to navigate. It's like changing the radio station on someone's GPS so they get lost. But even with all that success, 63 drones still got through and hit buildings, hurting and killing innocent people. That's the scary part of this whole situation. 6 days later, on July 10th, Russia tried again with 397 Shaheds. This time, only 29 got through Ukrainian defenses. Then on July 12th, Russia sent an incredible 597 drones and decoys toward Ukraine. The Ukrainians managed to shoot down or redirect 577 of them, with only 20 hitting their targets. Now you might wonder why Russia keeps doing this if most of their drones get shot down. Well, Russian military planners don't really care about losing so many drones. They're playing a numbers game. About 75% of their attacks fail. But that's okay with them, because they're trying to wear out Ukraine's air defense systems. It's like if someone kept throwing tennis balls at you, eventually you'd get tired of catching them all. Here's the tricky part for Ukraine. If they used their most expensive missiles to shoot down every single Shahed drone, they would run out of missiles super quickly, maybe in just a few weeks or months. The United States makes really good missiles called Patriot missiles, but the company that builds them, Lockheed Martin, only makes about 600 of them per year. Each one costs several $million and weighs about a ton. They can fly 90 miles, which is really far, but they're just too expensive to use against every drone. Ukraine has 6 or 7 Patriot missile systems, and they work really hard diplomatically, which means they ask nicely and make deals with other countries to make sure these systems always have some missiles ready to use. There are smaller, cheaper missiles too, but even these cost a lot. The United Kingdom loaned Ukraine $3.4 billion to buy 5,000 lightweight missiles. Each one weighs about 29 pounds and can fly about 5 miles, but they still cost more than $500,000 each. That's still way more expensive than what it costs to shoot down a drone with the old German guns. This is where the Gepards become the heroes of the story. Ukraine has about 80 Gepards and some nearly identical vehicles called Cheetahs. They're all built in Germany, though some were sent by the United States. The best part is that these vehicles are really old, decades old, which means they were basically extra equipment that other countries didn't need anymore. They're simple and reliable, kind of like an old pickup truck that just keeps running no matter what. The main cost of using a Gepard is buying bullets for its 35mm guns. After Germany sent all of its old Cold War ammunition to Ukraine in 2023, they paid a company called Rheinmetall $181 million to start making new bullets again. Each bullet weighs about 3.3 pounds, and they made 300,000 fresh ones. The best part is that you only need a handful of these bullets to shoot down one drone. Germany was so happy with how well this worked that they signed another contract for 180,000 more bullets that should arrive in Ukraine next year. This means Ukraine's Gepard crews should have enough ammunition to shoot at every Shahed drone that tries to cross the border. For a Gepard crew, shooting down a Shahed drone might cost only a few $1,000s in ammunition. Compare that to using a $1 million missile, and you can see why these old German guns are so popular. It's like using a fly swatter instead of a cannon to kill a fly. Sometimes the simple solution is the best solution. The mobile guns are also really accurate, which is why they're on the front lines of Ukraine's defense against these drone attacks. The crews can move around easily, set up quickly, and start shooting down drones without wasting expensive missiles. This whole situation shows how sometimes old technology can be the perfect solution for new problems. These Gepard vehicles were built during the Cold War to shoot down Soviet aircraft. But now they're protecting Ukrainian cities from modern drones. It's a pretty cool example of how creative thinking and old reliable equipment can work together to solve big challenges. The Ukrainian soldiers operating these vehicles have become really good at their jobs, and the Gepards have earned a reputation as some of the most effective weapons against the Shahed drone threat. It just goes to show that you don't always need the newest, most expensive equipment to get the job done.